Thanks for joining us on the CBN News Channel. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. A Philadelphia jury convicted late-term abortionist Kermit Gosnell of murder. Now he could face the death penalty. The gruesome case highlights a terrible problem in America. Partial birth abortion is not just limited to Gosnell's house of horrors, and this case may change the debate over abortion. John Jessup has the latest.
Throughout the 8-week trial, late-term abortion doctor Kermit Gosnell and his attorney maintained his innocence. But immediately after learning his fate,
Dr. Gosnell, your reaction to the verdict?
He had nothing to say. In the end, jurors found the evidence to convict Gosnell on multiple counts of first-degree murder for killing 3 newborn infants after they'd been born alive. He was also guilty of involuntary manslaughter in the death of a 41-year-old immigrant who died from a drug overdose during a botched abortion. It took jurors 10 days to convict Gosnell on those charges and more than 200 other counts violating Pennsylvania's abortion laws.
I respect what juries do. I don't always agree, but I respect everything that they did, and they should be commended for their efforts.
Gosnell operated this clinic in West Philadelphia for 30 years before it was ultimately brought down for illegally prescribing painkillers. But what investigators found was far worse. They described his clinic as a house of horrors with blood-stained walls, unsterilized medical equipment, and fetal remains stored in the employee refrigerator.
It is clear that this person was not following the rules. And we have a role in society of making sure that those people who don't follow the law pay the consequences of not following the law.
The jury has yet to determine whether Gosnell should get the death sentence. It is a case that's left a dark stain on Philadelphia, one some hope to remove.
This year alone, just in these last 4 months, we've saved 10 babies. The most recent was just a week ago.
Elaine Russo runs the Hope Pregnancy Center, not far from where Gosnell practiced. It's on track to save more lives than it did last year, 27. The center is the brainchild of Pastor Herb Lusk, who ministers in the heart of the inner city.
1 out of every 2 pregnancies in the African-American community right now are aborted. 1 out of every 2.
Lusk says he decided to start the center after he noticed women in the church who, in his words, were pregnant one Sunday and no longer pregnant the next.
I kept seeing them, what is going on? And realized that with all the abortion mills in our neighborhood, that many of them were using abortion almost as birth control. At that point, I knew that I had to do something, and just talking about it was not going to be enough.
Even now, with the clinic closed and Dr. Gosnell convicted, many in the pro-life movement say the fight is far from over. They worry there may be many other clinics that may be operating under the radar, just like Kermit Gosnell's clinic did. John Jessup, CBN News, Philadelphia.
Thanks, John. Bipartisan anger today as new details emerge in the IRS scandal. Documents showed top IRS officials in Washington knew about the targeting of conservative groups, making it clear that efforts went well beyond the one branch that was initially blamed. Now committees from both the House and Senate vow to investigate.
The scandal involving the IRS and Tea Party groups is growing this morning, and public outrage with it. A report by the IRS's own watchdog shows senior IRS officials in Washington knew what was going on. Acting IRS Commissioner Stephen Miller among them. Miller was told about inappropriate scrutiny of Tea Party groups in May 2012, but he failed to disclose it in testimony before Congress in July of that year, despite being asked about it. Conservative groups across the country have been raising concerns about the IRS, complaining that they were being harassed.
They wanted very specific details concerning people that came to our meetings, people that spoke.
How many emails did you send? What were they? How many rallies did you go to? It had a chilling effect on all of us.
A North Carolina man says his Tea Party group qualified right away for tax-exempt status in 2009, but then his personal finances were targeted.
I am squeaky clean with record keeping. And all of a sudden, I get audited.
The American Center for Law and Justice represents Tea Party groups in their case against the government. They demand the remaining 10 groups be granted tax-exempt status immediately, and that all IRS employees involved be disciplined. They say the scandal now brings into question the IRS's ability to implement Obamacare. In an official letter, ACLJ head Jay Sekulow wrote, "It is no wonder that, in light of the open and notorious politicalization of the IRS vis-a-vis Tea Party and other conservative groups, many Americans view with outright alarm the called for expansion of the IRS to implement the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. As the scandal continues to grow, President Obama is speaking out. He calls a biased IRS outrageous."
I've got no patience with it. I will not tolerate it, and we will make sure that we find out exactly what happened on this.
IRS Chief Stephen Miller is expected to face tough grilling from the House Ways and Means Committee this Friday.
President Obama is also responding to the mushrooming investigation into the deadly attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. The chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee calls the administration's response a failure. Republicans have also accused the administration of attempting to cover up the facts. They're scheduling more hearings, but the president still says there's no new news.
And the fact that this keeps on getting churned out, frankly, has a lot to do with political motivations.
Congressman Darrell Issa is now seeking depositions from two officials. He wants to know what former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton knew about the attack and the decision she made in response.
Yet another scandal brewing for the Obama administration. The Justice Department is under fire for secretly obtaining phone records for journalists and editors with the Associated Press. Investigators obtained records for more than 20 separate lines assigned to the AP and its journalists in April and May of 2012. The records listed outgoing calls for the work and personal numbers of reporters for AP offices in New York, Washington, D.C., and Hartford, Connecticut. Phone records from the news agency's main number in the House of Representatives press gallery were also subpoenaed. More than 100 journalists routinely use those numbers. The subpoenas are thought to be part of a criminal investigation into leaked details about a CIA operation in Yemen. Lawmakers from both parties condemned the action. The AP's top executive called the probe a massive and unprecedented intrusion into news gathering.
They haven't told us what they're looking for, and nor have they explained why we got no prior notice, which our lawyers tell us is not only customary but required.
It is unknown whether a judge or a grand jury signed off on those subpoenas.
Minnesota is set to become the 12th state to legalize gay marriage. The state Senate approved the legislation after 4 hours of debate. It includes exceptions for religious groups. Churches don't have to allow their facilities to be used for ceremonies, and religious leaders don't have to perform same-sex weddings. Democratic Governor Mark Dayton plans to sign the bill today. The law would take effect August 1st.
It's a vote that could change one of the most influential organizations in our country. On May 23rd, Boy Scout delegates will decide if the ban on gay scouts stays or goes. As Heather Sells explains, a yes vote would likely force thousands of church-sponsored troops to pull out.
I'll do my best. The Scouting Oath inspires youth to honor God, country, and keep morally straight. It's why many boys and their parents get involved, and why many are so upset about the proposed change.
I've heard several boys say, I'm done. And they'll be within a year of getting their eagle. And getting your eagle is a very, very difficult thing to do.
At a minimum, a change to allow openly gay boys would complicate scouting. Parents and leaders we spoke with say they're not sure yet just how they would accommodate these kids and make the program work.
What do you do when he turns 18? Let's say he comes in at 14 years old, goes through everything, he's a wonderful scout, gets an Eagle Project, turns 18, wants to become a leader and say, well, I'm sorry, you're gay, you cannot be a leader.
I would expect that we'd have to have separate sleeping accommodations for heterosexual scouts and separate for homosexual scouts. We'd have to have separate bathing facilities.
The proposed change is perhaps Hugh Travis's biggest headache these days. As a Scout executive, he oversees 35,000 boys and adults in the Middle Tennessee Council. It's one of several councils nationwide that's gone public with its opposition. Nationally, the Boy Scouts of America says the change would be good for Scouting because it, quote, acknowledges changes in society and is reflective of how our major religious chartered organizations operate. Faith groups do sponsor 70% of units nationwide, but many, like the Catholic Church and Southern Baptists, say they will not give up core beliefs to stay with the Scouts. That includes First Baptist in Hendersonville. The potential dilemma is putting families here in a difficult position. Mark Carr's son is close to becoming an Eagle Scout.
We certainly want to keep him on that path. However, if this goes through, I think the first thing that's going to happen is many churches, especially in the Southern Baptist and many others as well, are going to drop the charters.
Conservative activist John Stumberger says the loss of such church groups would devastate the Boy Scout organization.
I think you'd see a mass exodus, not only of major denominations, but just of common sense parents saying, you know what, we can't trust Scouting anymore. There's not that moral consistency throughout the program.
For many families, it's a painful time, watching the program they value struggle and the sons they love caught in the middle.
I know for my son, he loves Scouts. We get here early. We never miss a meeting. He wants to do it all. And he's asked me, he's like, Mom, what do I do?
Heather Sells, CBN News.
New Orleans police have identified the alleged gunman in that shooting at a Mother's Day parade. Officers are looking for 19-year-old Aiken Scott. They say he can be seen in this grainy surveillance video. The video shows a crowd scattering after a man in a white T-shirt and dark trousers starts shooting. The man then runs out of the camera's view. At least 19 people were injured in the shooting incident, but no deaths have been reported.
Coming up, multi-million-dollar mosque and the man that's trying to stop them from being built.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill and in this hand is a $20 US gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was. Help! And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Mosques are popping up everywhere across the U.S. You've probably seen one in your community. But few Americans spoke up until Muslims tried to build a mosque near Ground Zero.
And that is not the case in Great Britain, where one man has been stopping the spread of mega mosques. Eric Stakelbeck recently sat down with the man known as the Mosque Buster.
Across the United States, from working-class Brooklyn to rural Tennessee, multi-million-dollar mosque projects have local residents up in arms. Despite reports of Muslim Brotherhood links and foreign funding from regimes like Saudi Arabia, these projects continue full speed ahead. In 2001, there were 1,200 mosques in America. Today, that number has nearly doubled to over 2,000. That's an increase of 74% in the last 11 years alone. In Great Britain, however, things may be taking a different turn.
A planning application gets submitted for a mosque in an area and it will never be called a mosque. And a neighbour will contact us saying, there's been this application, we are worried about it.
That's when lawyer Gavin Bobby springs into action. He runs the Law and Freedom Foundation, a group dedicated to promoting, quote, freedom under law. For Bobby, that means working with British citizens who oppose mosque building in their cities and towns.
We help them to organise themselves and their friends simply to use established methods of consultation to tell the local authority we object to this proposal because of the effect that it will have on the neighbourhood, the effect on parking, the effect on noise, the effect on disturbance, the architectural effects, the effects of concentration of people.
It works so well that Bobby has earned the nickname Mosque Buster. His Law and Freedom Foundation has stopped construction of mosques in 15 of the 16 cases that it's taken on. There are an estimated 1,500 mosques overall in the UK. According to Bobby, there are many others that operate illegally.
The mosque building craze, is this part of a larger strategy, do you believe, on the part of Islamists in the UK?
It's simply part of Islamic doctrine that the mosque is far more than a house of worship, a house of contemplation. Every mosque is instructed to be based upon the original mosque in Medina, where Muhammad originally, in the 7th century, set up his religious political doctrine of social control.
Critics of Bobby label him a racist and Islamophobe. He denies the charge but says he opposes Islamist ideology and Sharia law.
I have no hatred for Muslims. If anything, I feel sorry for Muslims being under this system, this barbaric belief system. The reason I'm doing it is because it's the belief system that I object to, and that needs to be resisted.
He wants that resistance to expand further into Europe, where he says organizations in 5 different countries have expressed interest in working with him. As for Great Britain, census data showed that Islam is the country's fastest growing religion. Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, London.
Up next, good news for the 400,000 Americans born with Down syndrome. It's coming up after this.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans. with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right. You could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Cancer patients could get hit by higher costs under Obamacare. Industry analysts are warning of thousands of dollars in new expenses for medications. The higher costs could hit those suffering with numerous chronic diseases, from cancer to rheumatoid arthritis. The costs could vary around the country. Some states are allowing insurers to charge patients bigger drug copays in order to keep premiums down. In California, patients would pay up to 30% of the cost.
Unborn babies with Down syndrome are in more danger than ever before. New prenatal testing can lead parents to abort them.
At the same time, medical advances are giving people with Down syndrome richer, fuller lives than ever before. Lori Johnson shows us the good things that can happen with the right decision.
Until now, pregnant women who wanted to know if they carried a baby with Down syndrome had to wait about 17 weeks and risk a miscarriage to learn the answer. Today, there's a faster, safer way to find out. All it takes is a simple blood test as early as 9 weeks into the pregnancy. Unfortunately, that leads to far more decisions about whether to abort. Down syndrome is a genetic condition in which a person has an extra chromosome and as a result has some physical and mental disabilities. For every 10 expectant mothers who are told their baby has Down syndrome, 8 choose to abort that child. Denise Bassett was about to be one of them.
I had trusted in God and I believe in God and I counted on Him for everything, but I was starting to think, well, what if He had made a mistake? And maybe I needed to do something about that.
She had signed the abortion papers. Then, at the last minute, Bassett called a pregnancy crisis hotline and spoke with Cherry Jensen.
Medicine is not an exact science, which we all know, and no one can predict the potential of a child.
As it turns out, Cherry's daughter has Down syndrome. At age 33, Jenny has accomplished much more than doctors said she ever would. Do you feel God using you?
I do. I do believe that God's using me for so many ways.
Jenny says God uses her to spread love to many people. As a hospital volunteer, she's a vital link between the patient and the healthcare staff.
The patients love her. She's kind, she's caring. We never have to ask her to do something twice. She never forgets a thing.
Jenny also takes care of kids at the YMCA. Her boss says she's like a ray of sunshine to the children, their parents, and her coworkers.
I know Jenny personally, and a lot of times we sit in my office and talk about faith in Christ, and it comes right from that. She is just a big-hearted Christian. She loves the Lord, and it's evident on how she lives her life.
And it was Jenny who helped stop Denise Bassett's abortion. Jenny's mother, Cherry, convinced Denise to postpone her decision until she met Jenny.
When Jenny prayed over the food, I'd realized the love that she has for God. And then when in our conversation she was talking, she had just touched my arm. And I really believed it was God speaking through her to me, telling me not to be afraid and trust in Him again.
And with that, Denise decided not to abort her child.
God gives life. It's not your decision to take it.
I'm so big! Yay!
Months later, Denise had her baby, a little girl named Abby, and is so glad she did.
My daughter is beautiful. She is born with no heart problems, no kidney problems, no leukemia. She's more advanced than what I ever thought she would be.
Denise says God has opened all kinds of doors to provide for her and Abby. And as you can imagine, two of their dearest friends are Cherry and Jenny, who help pave the way. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
What a beautiful baby girl that's here today.
It pays to choose life. It
Yes,
pays to choose life,
definitely.
indeed. We'll be right back.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new Grip Go, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and Grip Go grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of Grip Go. You can get the amazing Grip Go with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete Grip Go systems for just $14.95.
To order Grip Go for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
A new take on nutrition overseas.
That's right. Forget rice and livestock. A UN food agency is looking to edible insects. The Rome-based Food and Agriculture Organization says grasshoppers, ants, and other insects are way too underutilized. They argue insects are not only nutritious, but are also environmentally friendly. That's because bugs need far less feed per kilo of mass than livestock.
Well, insects are very nutritious. They have a high content of protein and minerals and fats. So they're very important for the local populations in many developing countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America.
Experts say 2 billion people, or 1/3 of the world's population, already eat insects. Believe it or not, they found the nutritional value of certain insects like beetles, ants, and crickets contain the same amount of protein per gram as lean meat and fish.
Yum, that looks so good.
Close your mouth, Charlene. That's going to do it for the CBN News Channel. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957. Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse, read separate versions at a glance, click and read a commentary, or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.